This session is an overview of LLDP, Link Layer Discovery Protocol. Link Layer Discovery Protocol was defined by the IEEE standard 802.1 AB. The IEEE needed to define a standard because vendors were deploying their own proprietary methods of discovery, and that often did not operate with other manufacturers. And there existed inconsistencies with these protocols on both LAN interfaces as well as the Layer 2 protocols associated to WAN interfaces. LLDP description and configuration is documented in Chapter 14 of Arista's 4.15.3 Configuration Guide. LLDP lets devices advertise to one another details about themselves, such as identification, interface information, and capabilities. LLDP only runs directly between devices connected on the same LAN media. Each switch with an active LLDP agent sends and receives messages on all physical interfaces enabled for LLDP. These messages are sent periodically and typically configured for short time intervals to ensure that accurate information is always available. For instance, on Arista switches, the default interval for LLDP updates sent by the switch is every 30 seconds, and the LLDP hold time, or the amount of time a switch retains the LLDP information it has received from any of its LLDP neighbors, is 120 seconds. Both of these timers and other LLDP options are configurable. When it comes to storing LLDP information on an Arista switch, the switch stores LLDP info from neighboring devices in the SNMP MIB, or the Simple Network Management Protocol Management Information Base. This information can be pulled by your network monitoring software to help map connectivity between devices based on real-time information and reporting as to which neighbors are currently connected and where. A single LLDP data unit is transmitted in a single 802.3 Ethernet frame. Some guidelines and limitations include LLDP must be enabled globally before it can be enabled on an interface, and LLDP is not supported on virtual interfaces. Some useful show commands for LLDP include show LLDP, enter, and notice in the output we can see the default LLDP transmit interval is 30 seconds. Our default transmit hold time is 120 seconds. And for the interfaces that are operationally up and have LLDP enabled, we can see if we're both sending and receiving LLDP frames. The show LLDP neighbors command provides a list of all neighboring devices that we are currently receiving LLDP frames from. Show LLDP space neighbors, enter. In the output from our lab device, we can see we have several LLDP neighbors, which interface we see those neighbors on, and how many neighbors we have, and the time since the last change to our LLDP table. We'll cover configuring basic LLDP, the default settings, and how to change some of those settings in another session.